school, her backpack heavy with books and the small toolkit her Uncle Raymond had given her. She slowed when she saw a gleaming red Shelby GT 500 Mustang on the roadside, its hood lifted like a yawning mouth. A man in an expensive suit paced beside it, shouting into his phone. "I don't care what it costs. Just send the tow truck. I've been here for 2 hours. I've got a meeting with the governor in less than 3. Lena hesitated. Aunt Clara always warned her not to talk to strangers, especially rich ones lost in their rural town 2 hours from Boston. But his frustration tugged at her empathy. "Excuse me, sir," she said carefully. "Need help with your car?" Richard Blake, CEO of Blake Holdings and owner of half of Boston's skyline, turned, irritation shifting to disbelief when he saw the small girl in oversized MIT shirt and scuffed sneakers. "That's kind, sweetheart, but this is a high-performance vehicle." Unfazed, Lena peeked under the hood. "My uncle's a mechanic. Maybe I can help." Before he could stop her, she was already inspecting the engine. "When did it start acting up?" 40 minutes ago, it overheated and died." "Did you smell anything sweet like syrup?" Richard blinked. "Actually, yes." "Coolant leak," she said, pointing to a small puddle beneath. "See? Radiator hose." From her backpack, she produced tape and sealed the crack. "That'll hold till you reach town. Just add water." Richard watched, impressed, and oddly uneasy. Something about her concentration, her clear eyes, felt familiar. "What's your name?" "Lena Carter." She smiled, grease on her fingers. "I'm Richard Blake." As she pushed a braid behind her ear, the afternoon light caught the emerald ring on her finger. Antique gold with a crescent-shaped imperfection Richard knew too well. His pulse stuttered. "That ring, where did you get it?" Lena frowned. "It was my mom's, my adoptive mom, Diana. She died last year. Said it was a symbol of a promise." Richard's voice wavered. "Where did she get it?" "No idea," Lena said. "Just said one day I'd understand." Fighting emotion, Richard offered her a ride home. During the drive, he asked about her life, school, family, the past. She mentioned being adopted from an orphanage called Little Angels that shut down years ago. Richard almost swerved off the road. That was the same orphanage he'd funded before it mysteriously closed 12 years earlier. He dropped her off, gave her his card, and watched her disappear into the small white house while gripping the steering wheel with trembling hands. That night in his penthouse, he called his private investigator. "Find everything about Lena Carter, Little Angels, Diana Carter, all of it." 3 sleepless nights later, surrounded by photos of the emerald ring, Richard uncovered horrifying truths. His father, Charles Blake, had secretly purchased Little Angels for research on gifted children, testing, tracking, exploiting them. Lena's name was on the list, marked Special Case. Contact CB. Diana, a nurse there, had fled with her to protect her. Meanwhile, Lena repaired radios in her uncle's workshop. When she told Uncle Raymond and Aunt Clara about meeting Richard, their faces drained of color. "He recognized my ring," she said. Clara exchanged a tense glance with Raymond. "Honey," Clara began softly, "your mother left something for you. She said we should give it to you only if a Blake ever showed up." From a locked drawer, she retrieved a faded envelope. Inside was a letter. "My dear Lena, if you are reading this, they've found you. The truth about who you are and what they did is hidden within the ring you wear." At that same moment, Richard's investigator reported that a journalist, Mark Hayes, was digging into the same orphanage. The next day, a black SUV waited near Lena's school, 2 men sent by Charles Blake, but Uncle Raymond, following Diana's old emergency plan, called Mark Hayes. "It's about Little Angels," he said, "and the girl with the emerald ring." Later at Blake Enterprises, Charles confronted his son. "Why are you revisiting the orphanage files?" "Because I met one of the children," Richard replied. "Lena Carter, the girl you called Project 17. Charles's composure cracked. "You have no idea what's at stake. Those kids were valuable. Some could see patterns others couldn't. Imagine what their minds could do for defense contracts," Richard whispered, horrified. "She fixes things. She feels machines." Charles smirked. "Exactly." But Richard had already decided which side he was on. The next morning, the boardroom of Blake Enterprises filled with anxious executives. Charles demanded his son's presence. The doors opened. Richard walked in with a federal prosecutor, Claire Bennett. "Sorry I'm late, Dad. This is Ms. Bennett. She has questions about Project Prometheus." Charles's face went white. Richard connected his laptop. Documents, photos, and surveillance footage flooded the screen. Proof of unauthorized experiments on orphaned children. One clip showed Diana fleeing the facility with baby Lena. Another showed Charles ordering, "Find her! That child has military potential." The room fell silent. Then the doors burst open again. Lena entered with Uncle Raymond and reporter Mark Hayes. "You didn't have to come," Richard whispered. "I did," Lena said firmly. "My mother always said the truth needs a voice." Charles sneered. "So you're Project 17. Small for someone so dangerous. And you're the man who killed my mother," Lena shot back. Her brakes didn't fail, did they? His silence was answer enough. She held up her ring. With a twist, the emerald popped open, revealing a micro drive. "This holds every record your people thought they erased. Videos, files, even your contracts with the military." Mark Hayes raised his camera. "This is live, broadcast to the world." Charles tried to lunge forward, but agents flooded the room. Richard stepped closer, eyes full of regret. "It's over, Dad. I'm cooperating." "You'll answer for everything." Lena met Charles's furious stare. "My mom used to say broken machines can be fixed, but broken people have to fix themselves. I hope you can." In the months that followed, Blake Enterprises collapsed under federal investigation. Richard lost his empire but gained redemption. 5 years later, the Carter Innovation Center rose on the same land where Little Angels once stood, a bright campus for young inventors from marginalized communities. Now 15, Lena strolled through labs filled with kids tinkering with robots. "The sensors in the East Wing are still glitching," she said, adjusting a circuit board with practiced ease. Richard, dressed simply in jeans, spoke to donors nearby. "We found 23 gifted children this year. No contracts, no exploitation, just opportunity." Uncle Raymond ran the engineering program, proud as ever. On a wall display, photos and headlines chronicled the scandal. "Blake Empire Falls. Child Genius Exposes Decades of Abuse." In prison, Charles Blake sat alone, muttering plans that would never materialize. At the first graduation ceremony, 12 students received scholarships. Lena, still too young to graduate, gave a speech. "When I was 10, I stopped to fix a stranger's car," she said, the emerald ring glinting. "That small act of kindness changed everything. My mom taught me that broken systems need to be rebuilt, not just repaired. And that's what we're doing here." Richard watched with tears in his eyes. The girl who'd destroyed his old world had also given him a new one. Weeks later, Lena received a letter from Victoria Blake, Charles's estranged daughter and now a prosecutor. "We found 5 more orphanages like Little Angels. Because of your bravery, 37 children are safe." Lena folded the letter and smiled at her family. "You know what's funny?" Richard said quietly. "My father always said he was building a legacy. Turns out he did, just not the one he imagined." Lena looked out at the laughing children beyond the windows. "Real power," she said, "isn't in money. It's in changing lives." That evening, as the sun set over the new center, a sign was unveiled at the gate. "Every talent deserves to flourish. Every child deserves freedom. A promise for the future built on the ashes of a past they refuse to repeat."